Hello everyone. In this YouTube video, I will concentrate to the modification in the World of Tanks. I'm pretty sure that most of you or almost everyone knows what our modifications are in the World of Tanks and what they do. I'm pretty sure also that most of you are using some kind of modifications. Uh, if you don't know what modifications are and what you can get out of those and what how they can be used and how you install it and so on, uh, this video might be very good for you. In this video, I will go firstly in basic principles, what they are, what kind of things are included in those modifications, and next thing what I'm going to show that what kind of modifications I have in my client, and lastly I will show you how to download and install modification pack and how you can choose the modifications to your own client. But let's start first for the most common things about modifications. Modifications are basically extensions for the World of Tanks game client, and this kind of feature can be found many similar games. And the main purpose of the modification is to customize the client itself, how it looks like, what you can see, and what kind of view you have when you are using your own client. And also, in the World of Tanks modifications, it brings a little more functions for it. Uh, mm, Mostly more information for what you can use when you are playing or uh, you are dealing your vehicles in the garage mode and so on. Uh, that's a main idea of the modifications. There you can also customize your gameplay or battle view a little bit different kind of things. For example, changing the vehicles uh, skins, how they look like, and adding sounds or music on your client when you are playing or whatever that kind of things. That's what they are. Uh, when we are breaking down those things, the first thing is that you are customizing the client or person interface. That's a main thing what they does. So if you want to add clock, for example, a clock to your carriage view or your battle view, or you want to see more information about player skills or so on, you can bring those information for you, what you can use on your own gameplay. I know many people are saying that these are making the player better when you are using these, and someone even says that they are cheating in many ways. But uh, if we are talking about these legal modifications, what are uh, allowed to install your client, to be honest, they don't bring not so much anything special functions. What makes your gameplay totally better than if you don't use those, or what the basic client is offering. That's something what they doesn't do. There's also those illegal modifications. It's different kind of story, and they will fix and modify your client that you get uh, advances. What potential make you better player or like the name said, it's a cheating. But in generally, when you are using modifications, it's if I'm looking straight to the eye of this thing or the truth, it offers potential to increase player performance, at least for me, but not the way that the people might think first. They don't give not a special edge of those. Um, to me, how they are increasing my performance is that when I'm um, fixing the view, what I'm seeing, what kind of uh, things I can see, or what the colors of those listed vehicles and the enemies and so on, and what kind of colors and line types are in the minimap and so on. Those are cosmetical things, but they I feel so much better. It's more familiar for me than the regular view what the base client is offering. So I feel much better with those things what I have customized for my client. So like I said, they are cosmetic things, but I feel so much better with those. And I have to be honest, I play better with those things. And time to time when the client is upgrading and those modifications are not working, I try now and then to play without those modifications. And I'm so lost without those. I'm so hooked on those modifications what I have used years. So that's a potential what they are giving to the player. And also there's some edge of from those information what can be potential to make your playing better if you are using those information correctly. For example, if you know what kind of enemies, what the skill level of your enemies are, and how your what the skill level is on your team, uh, you can set up your playing style on those things. And yeah, you can play much more dynamically in the battle. And that's for example, for me it works just fine. I know that many players are saying, for example, those XVM modifications are toxic, don't use those. And there's a half of the truth on those, because when I get bad team and the enemy's team is much better than ours, it affects on my mind. But not so much. I just adjust my playing style to that view, and it works same as if when I know what kind of tanks enemy has and what I'm facing and so on. So I'm adjusting my playing style on for those tanks what and tiers what I'm facing on, and it works exactly the same way for the skill levels. So it holds the potential to increase player performance. Uh, I will show what kind of modifications I have using, and I don't want to show you actual gameplay on the battle view, because it this this video is going to be long again. That's for for sure. For that's how these my videos are going forward. Uh, but I don't. It would be much longer if I'm going to show you example for a live gameplay. So that's why I have a screen capture of the battle view, and here we can pick up some things what might be unfamiliar for you if you don't use modifications. So this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about how I feel much better or familiar for this view than the regular view what the base client is offering. And what we can see here is, first thing first, it's always interesting to see how the mark of excellence markings are going those percentages in your own tank. So there's modification which shows real time what is your marking process on the correct tank in real time. Next thing is, like I said earlier, these XVM values. So the first thing, the layout, how I can see the players in the listed, and there's also the colors and the values from the player skill levels. And there's if the red or orange, it's not so good player. Yellows are a little bit better player. Greens are good players, and blue ones and purple ones are the unicorns. So those are the best skilled players, if I may say so. And this is the thing what I'm watching a lot of, and that's true that sometimes uh, if the layout matchmaking is very poor for me or my team, it might be effective to my feelings or my mm, how I start to play this. And if I have a losing stream behind me, let's say 5 to 10 lost battles, and then I see right away that my team sucks again and the enemy teams is much better, of course it affected my playing. And to be honest, that's a moment when I should take a break from a full game. It's the best solution for it. But let's go forward. That's something what has been modified. That I'm using in the battle view for my modifications. Next thing is these icons. This is something what I have been using many years, and if I can, if this is these vehicles are listed some different ways, I'm lost again. I don't feel so familiar for me. So this is personal thing, but this is what I have used it to use, and I can see right away what kind of tank, what tank is, and so on with colors and these icons. These all can be uh, changed with the modifications. Next thing, uh, here across, I have used this called Jimbo, which is a little bit different than the regular, the base clients Hercos. And this is something what I have been using all the time. And again, if it's something else, I don't feel so familiar for the client once again. Next thing, I can add more information. This is when we are watch this or looking this at the first time, it might be looked pretty useless because this is basically the adding or calculate adding those all the hits and spotting and so on, and the base client is offering those same over here. But the main thing why I have installed this is that this shows also the spottings. So what I have spotted the first time in this battle, it shows those two, and this is pretty important information when I'm grinding those spotting missions at for the 279E, uh, those missions. That's why I have installed it, so I can see right away have I spotted enough and so on. And if if all the tanks, enemy tanks have already spotted and I cannot spot anymore, and I don't meet those requirements what the spotting mission requires, and I can straight away start to play different kind of way. Yeah. Next thing is there is a different view for this, what repairs and how this is looking like. This is not so important for me, but this is something what I have been used to see. So this is also totally custom made, what you can customize with the modifications. Next important thing to me is also this how the things are looking like in the minimap, what kind of line width are, and what kind of lines and what colors on those view range and so on. Also, what kind of information it's showing with the players and so on. All these can be customized. And what else? Here is also this VN8 calculator effectiveness and differences values. So I can see right away what is my performance in that game, what is my VN8 value, how much I have been done damages, and how effective I have been for the team, and so on. Also, here is this player pool. These are a little bit different than the base thing, and also there is a high caliber calculator which shows what is the limit for the high caliber award. What else? A lot of different kind of icons and so on, but to be honest, I can't remember what else I have been installed there. But these are the things what you can see right away from the screen. So, like we saw in that picture, there's a lot of things what are visual on the gameplay. Uh, but they don't give any special extra feature for me where I can do some crazy stuff or be a better player by that feature or things. I guess the illegal modifications are offering those kind of things, but as far as I know, these modifications what are legal to install doesn't offer those. So they are all the visual things. Like I said earlier, those modifications use the client in many ways. They help, uh, especially in the carriage mode, the view. I will show after this uh, introduction or this common or this after this information I will show you on the what kind of things I have installed in my carriage, and it offers a lot of different kind of things what helps me uh, when I'm working around with the vehicles before the battle, and well, you will see. And also those uh, things what I showed you in the battle view, it helps me in many ways. At least it, like I said, they don't do any bit of special tricks, but they helps on my mindset when I'm playing. When we are talking about what kind of modifications there is basically all the modifications are single modifications. So one feature you can install it for your client, and that's it. Uh, and you have to know how to install to correct um, file to correct uh, the address or direction for the game at your hard drive. You have to know where to install it correctly that it work. And if you want to fix those, you have to know uh, something about uh, how the you have to open that with the notepad, and you have to fix those if you want to modify those modifications. But it's a little bit trickier to use those, and much easier to use is use these modification packs, and that's something what I have been using all of my playing years. So modification packs are basically collection of those single modifications, and when you start to install it, have on own installation program. When you start that, you can pick up what kind of modifications you will want to install it there. Yeah. Uh, Then one very important things to remember, the client, as we all know who are playing this game, the client itself is upgrading all the time. Uh, to be honest, it's sometimes it's annoying how fast or what is the phase when the client is upgrading itself all the time. Most annoying thing is that if you collecting those replays, the newer client doesn't show those old clients, and those replays what have been played on the older clients, and that's annoying. But most annoying thing if you are using modifications, time to time when the client is upgraded to the new version, you have to reinstall every time those modifications too, and obviously you have to wait that you get the new version of the modification before you can install it for your uh, client. That's something which you have to remember, and it's very annoying things at the first, but after a while it goes pretty smoothly, and I have done it so many times that it doesn't bother me anymore. But at first it might be a little annoying things, and what you have to remember to do. Next thing, like I said earlier, there is a legal and illegal modifications, and I'm not so familiar for these illegal modifications. I know that there is a different kind of uh, modifications which ease up or doing, for example, aiming for you, and so-called aimbots and so on. But I don't know exactly how they are working, and what is the purpose of those. In generally, um, there is the wargaming itself has lined up the principles which are legal, what kind of things the modifications can do and offer to player and what they cannot do. And there's a pretty big gray area where what when the is it illegal or illegal as far as I understand it. And that's why wargaming has been launched many years ago, this vgmod.net webpage, where you can find all the legal modifications, and that's the one what I'm recommend to you to use. So everything what you are downloading from there should be illegal and just fine to use. So there you cannot find anything illegal. Uh, well, as far as I have to understand. But I know a couple of stories when this vgmods.net was a new. I know a couple of rumors and stories where the player had been using those modifications and download it from the VG and get banned still. Uh, I don't know what is the story background of those, but I haven't called any. I haven't heard any similar stories after those first moments of the VG mod. Nowadays, it should be working just fine. So that's a place where I recommend to use when you are looking for the modifications, and they are all free to use. Yeah. And the next thing after that, that will be said, is that no matter where you are downloading or using those modifications, if you are using those or downloading from a vgmods.net, those modifications, you are still yourself are responsible of the legality of those modifications. So the responsible for those are on the players all the time. So it's easier to say that if you want to be on the safe side of this whole thing, don't use modifications at all. But well, like I said, personally, I'm so hooked on those modifications. I have tried to get rid of those modification by modification, but I haven't. I'm still using those, and I'm downloading all the modifications what I'm using for vgmods.net, and I'm trusting that they are okay. At least I haven't get banned by using those modifications. What there is, and the things what the modifications are offering me and the battle mode are not any kind of they are purely visual. So I don't get any extra edge by using those. But this is very important thing to remember. The modifications uh, programmer or the people behind those modifications are not they are not taking responsible anything about those. So it's a player's shoulders what the player is installing on the client and what they are not installing. That's about it. But now I'm going forward and I'm going to show you what I have installed in my uh, carriage mode of view. I will show, and it gives you a better view what kind of things. And when I'm saying that it helps me many ways, I will show how. And here is the view of my carriage. Uh, Here you can see a lot of different kind of things. If you don't have not installed any kind of modifications, here you can see a lot of different things which might look different than your base client view. What you can see. Uh, if we go through what kind of things we can see here, what is the different? For example, there's missing premium shop button. I have using modification that it doesn't show those things. Also, there is uh, ping values automatic retune crew. So if I'm chasing same crew, different tanks, it will follow. All those skills are all shown. If I would have all the skills, uh, for example, 7 skills to this Killzor commander, it will show all those right away. There's also padlocks, and main idea is that I don't accidentally use bonds or gold and so on. So there's a padlock which locks these uh, walls, so call it, that I cannot use. The only way how I can use this is that I will open this padlock, and then I can use those bonds or golds and so on. Here's also a view for statistic, which will show what kind of value VN8 value I have right now and what is the win ratio right now. Also mark of excellence. It will show this current tanks process right now, where it goes, what is the percentage, what are the marks, how many marks I have, and what are the limits for the next one, and what is the value right now. So this is very handy tool to when if you want to mark your own tanks with those mark of excellence markings. This is the modifications what almost every contributor or these unicorns what you can find what are broadcasting at the Twitter, they are using this one because they are marking their own tanks and so on. So if they are saying that they don't use modifications, that's a little lie, because this is something what everyone those are using. What else? Uh, this carousel can be easily modified their own way. So uh, what you can see right away here is that on every tank there is a win ratio, how many battles, what are the damages, average what I'm doing, have done, and also what is the percentage on that tank, and what kind of awards or what is the best award performance medal or award what I have got those. Also, what kind of sorting, what how this is sorting those tanks on here, in what order it can be chosen with the modifications, which cannot do on the base client, which is, to be honest, a little odd thing. I I would easily thought that Wargaming would be put that option where you can choose other sorting on the nations, tiers, or whatever, or tank class, but there is not such a option. So yeah, but you can find that with the modifications. What else? This kind of things. Of course, if you are going to the tech tree, what I have installed here. Uh, Yes, very good. All these things can be modified too. What kind of things? Uh, if there's a win ratio percentage showing here or not. Also, I have installed this kind of modification which shows all the tanks what the Wargaming has been announced and presented during the years. But most of those tanks cannot be bought or get anymore. For example, there is Wafer Tracker E100, and but with this modification, I can check it how it looks like and what kind of specification it has had. So it looks like this, and what kind of models. Here's nothing to choose. This is not the original version of the Waffen Tracker. There was a in the original version of the Wafer Tracker offers also that 15 millimeter Canon 2 gun, but it doesn't show here. But nevertheless, this is something what the modifications allow to do. They show those old tanks or some tanks, special tanks, and so on. There's one trick what I'm using a lot of tool which is very good, and that armor tool. So in this preview view, I can check what kind of armor and how it works in the different kind of shells when I'm shooting. For example, this Waffentrager. Now I have 120 millimeter, which have penetration 200 millimeters, and if I'm shooting on this angle, it will show right away that it would be a penetration, and it shows how much the steel is armor is in the front of that. And also, if the angle is too small or something, it gives the ricochets. Uh, with this kind of tank, it's not so important feature, but when we are going, let's say, let's go back to the here and let's select something which have pretty much more armor. Let's take this one. Uh, like this. And now let's put a little bit, let's like about tier 10 penetration, something like that. Oh, thank you. What happened? Let's go back for now. That was odd. You can witness very strange thing. It changed it to the Procket. So let's go back. So this one, you carriage armor and 285 millimeter and 122. This is pretty much the caliber, the shell what the Russian heavies has. So how it performance? Straight in the face, uh, lower plate 260 millimeters and 68% possibility to penetrate. Upper plate, it's a little bit different story. So there's a 380 millimeters and non-penetrated, and same goes to the turret. Also, I can check how the cupola is working, and we can see right away that here it's much smaller that armor, and it can be penetrated, but it's very small. So good luck with that to hit on those. But there is a very big uh, weak spot on this tank. This is very good for excellent side scraper. There's no any kind of possibilities to penetrate this. Even Jack Pisa E100 can be struggling to penetrate this, but there is a huge weak spot. It is right here. So 180 millimeters. So even tier 7 tanks can penetrate this frontally. So that's why this tank is pretty crappy, to be honest. Yeah, but that is something very cool, very good tool. I can check those armors also with this way. I'm checking all the times this armor, and just to learn how I can penetrate and how they are working on different angles and so on. So this is the tool which helps me to get better player, and how I can learn more about this. What else? Well, one thing, I have installed this statistic summarizing info, which is pretty much same kind of what the client itself is offering, but this gives much more information. For example, financial way, how much I have collected uh, credits in my session, and what is the uh, win ratio, wins and battles, and so on, and what is the VN8 today's performance, and how effectiveness I have been today. Not so glorious. result so far, but it is what it is. What else? Well, that's about it. Next, I will show how you can download those modification back, Uslines modifications back from pgnet.com and how you can install it in your own client. One thing I forget to show what is very good tool, what I'm using a lot, is this battle hits modification, which can be installed to the client too. And this is something where you can see how you have been hitting the enemies and how the enemies are hitting to you, your tank, and where is the penetration or the hitting happening. So this is my latest battle which I played the Brocketto, and this is the view. I get one hit from the Kampfpanzer 07 and it hit me right away, right over here, and it was penetration and damage is 230 from that angle. When I'm selecting the enemies, we can see right away what are my things what I had done. So first hit was this 121. I hit in the back over the tracks. It was penetration. 53 TP penetration. Char Futur was on the wheels, so it didn't. It was just that annoying critical hit, which doesn't tell much. But so it wasn't penetration to hull. Lorraine, Scorpion G, Standard P. This was pretty odd. It should be a penetration, but it wasn't. I don't know what story on this one, but it is what it is again. Char Futur again, Conqueror 50 TP, 50 TP, Krill 15 and 60 TP again. And these are very good information, especially on those special things when I get hit very odd places, enemy hitting me, and I'm wondering how they are hitting me because I had all my armor and so on line. They cannot hit me any way. How they can penetrate me, the main question. And this is the thing or the tool which shows how it went. And this is a very good example right now what we can see here. I'm pretty sure that this 60 TP player might think that how the heck this uh, Brocketto could hit me and penetrate while he's fully uh, hold down position. Well, to be honest, it was lucky shot from me, and I remember it was very hazy shot, very fast snapshot to this 60 TP direction, and RNG was on my side, and it was luckily on the hitting into the turret's ring, which is the it doesn't have not so much armor on it, and it was lucky shot. So this was very interesting, and one thing is good to mention that it was just shooting on me, but I get him first. Uh, Here is a lot of those battles during the day, what I have played today, and here I can do this analyzing to all these tanks or hits, battle hits. This is very good tool. I recommend that you install it. It gives a lot of answers if you are wondering how you get penetrated and so on. Yeah. But now I will continue to the uh, that installing process. Not yet for the installing process. I remember again another very good uh, tool what you can install in the carriage mode, and it's this replay manager. This is very good tool if you want to uh, store your own paddles to the internet, or you just want to see how it have went. Uh, this will basically collect all the replays in the one tool, and it tells how it went, what kind of result you have made, and so on. And you can sort out different kind of days and so on. What is the map and what is the tank and so on. Very good filters to use these. And there's a couple of interesting features what this offers. For example, this will show afterwards the battle results again. By pressing here, it will take a little time, but it should show it. And here I can check how it went. And here you can find uh, more modifications what I have been installed for this. So battle statistics, it tells how my battle went, what is the effectiveness and VN8 on this battle, how it affected my mark of excellence process, and also we can see that it listed all the players skill levels over here in VN8, and what is the skill level on that battle, on that vehicle, on that player, and also summarizing up what was the setup for this battle. Our team was a little bit stronger than enemies, and well, I cannot say is that the reason why we won, but we won anyways. Uh, yeah, this is the very cool tool to dig out these battle results, and also you can play those replays in that way, this way, but it will restart your client again, and it's not working as well I may thought about it, but nevertheless you can start the replay in this way, and also you can upload this replay to the World of Tank replays internet web pages where you can share your own battle. One of the biggest faults, or no, let's put this way, that one of the biggest thing what World of Tanks could be, or better, or wargaming could be development forward, is that it would be the newer client can play the older replays, and that's a biggest fall in this whole thing. Nowadays, when there is a new version of the client, uh, it cannot uh, you cannot watch those older replays with the newer client when it is upgraded, and that's very annoying thing. Uh, that's the thing what they should fix up. One of those things would be nice if they fix up that way that you can check those older replays with the newer clients. Only way how you can check those old uh, replays is that you have to have installed all those older clients, and I don't even know how what kind of thing or job is to do that. But that's the only way how you can do it. But again, this is very important, very good way to check all battles, how they went, and what kind of result, how you are performing on those, and it will show right away, and you can check those battle results on this one. And now I will finally go and show how you can download and install those modification from the Asline modification pack. And here I will show you how you can download your own modifications for yourself, and I will continue to show in how you can install it and choose what modifications you ever want to uh, put in your own client. Uh, this is the web page what I talked earlier. So this is Wargaming own modification page called ModHub, and all the modifications what you can find here are supposed to be free and supposed to be also illegal. Now that's the main thing. This is the safest place where you can download your own modifications for your own client. Uh, Now what you see in the screen is there those are no categories where I have already chosen the mod packs. So these are modification packages where is these mod packs include a lot of different kind of separate or single modifications into them, and the biggest advances on these are obviously that you get a lot of modification at the one installing, and also there is an installing program which ease up a lot of configuring the directory and so on to set up the whole thing to your own client. And those are the reason why I'm using the modification packs. Uh, the first pack what I use a lot many years ago was Solo. This one, it's good still, I guess. I haven't used many for many years, but uh, many years ago I used that a lot. It's smaller than what I'm using now, that S line, but and therefore it's easier to choose, and let's say it might be a beginner friendly to use because the options are lots smaller. The wider variety of the modifications lots more than, for example, at S-Line. Uh, what else? I changed it Solo to something else. I can't remember anymore the name of the modification pack. It hasn't been anymore in here to get it. I guess the developer of that modification pack has been uh, uh, tired to keep up those modifications and developing his own software, so it has been diseased, or hasn't been in there anymore. It was great modification pack in one reason. It allows the player or the user uh, save external setup file for the chosen modifications, and what it means that when you have set up the what kind of modifications you use and what kind of setup you use on those, it could you can save the external setup file for that for your own hard drive, and when you are upgrading your or reinstalling your modifications, it's it was pretty easy to just load that setup file, and it will be automatically knows what kind of modifications you're using, and it installed those same things again. Same kind of feature uh, is many of these included, but they don't save or load external files. For example, S-Line is offering this memory kind of thing, so it remembers what kind of setup you have installed it earlier, and automatic when you are upgrading the modifications to your client, it remembers those earlier setups. In paper, it works just fine, and many times, let's say 70% of the cases, it works just fine. But the rest of the 30%, it doesn't remember, or it just mixed up somehow what kind of modifications I have been using. And that's annoying thing, because when the the modification pack doesn't remember what the modifications you have used, you have to uh, just to start to pick up those and set up those modifications again from the scratch, and it's annoying, and it's huge thing to do, uh, especially if you have a lot of modifications like I do install it. I have a trick in my sleeve how I can do it. I will talk it later, what I do to remember those things, but that's a one plot twist story about this. So this is the web page. You can search uh, by the name for the modifications what you are looking for example battle hits. Let's see, does it find it? Yes, it find. So this is one individual, or no individual, one specific modification which allows you to check how the hits are going to uh, where the hits are going on the tank in your and enemies and so on. So you can uh, search by the name the modification and install it in that way, or you can just select the modification packs like I have selected in the categories. There's also suggestion for the different kind of uh, modifications, for example user interface, so it sort out those in that way, or crosshairs type or skins and so on. Most important thing what you have to select is that you are downloading or selecting the correct version, so newest one. The old ones doesn't work with the new client, new version of the client. That's a very important thing to remember. Uh, what else? This is pretty straightforward. I can download straight over here, or I can open this one and it will show all the information. Normally there's some might be some videos or pictures, and there's also uh, well, here is Wargaming Fair Play friendly uh, noticed over here, which indicate that this is a legal version of all the modifications what are in this modification pack are legal to use, install and use. Information for the installation, about update and removal, changelog and so on and so on. And here is possibilities to put the comments on it, but you cannot see, or you have to sign in if you want to leave the comment. These are pretty good because uh, normally players are telling or announcing if there's some problems or something like that. To be honest, this isn't the best place to check out different kind of problems or something information when if you want to more deeply information about this. If you want that, uh, I recommend that you go to this developer own web page, and there is a forum, and there you can find much more information about this and also those problems and so on. So this is what I have been using, and this whole thing starts just pressing download and download it in your own uh, hard drive wherever you want, and start the installing program from there. And now I have started the program what I have installed, downloaded to my own hard drive, this modification pack exe file, and when I'm running it, it might ask some antivirus or protection or firewall things from you, depending what kind of setup you have in your computer. Just allow it all, and if ask, it might ask the permissions to use administration setup or something like that. Just accept all them, and after that it will show this setup language thing, and here you can select your own native language for the setup file if you like to have, or if it's possible, or it is offering that. I will choose that English, and I am pressing OK. And after that, the setup file will start to check updates and so on. It will take a little time. While waiting that setup is checking those updates, I will summarizing a couple of things about this setup process. It might help you. Oh, now it's ready. It's over here. But still, I will summarize a couple of things. What you should remember when you are installing these things. And well, that's a remembering list. Let's put that way. So first thing first, to make sure that you are using legal modification and they are virus free and so on, and they are working just fine, use only modifications what you can find in this vgmod.net. So that's Wargaming Mod Hub. It's a correct place where you can find those modifications for you. Next thing which is important when we are going forward right now is check that you're installing to the correct directory on your hard drive. So in this picture or this window, it's good to select the show the preview window. What this means, it shows the preview the view when you are selecting the modifications, what they look like in your own client. It's very useful tool. Next, uh, descriptions and so on, you can find over here too. Next, uh, the change log, what kind of changes the developer has input in this modification pack. And next, and this is very important thing to check that this is correct. This directory should be same as our correct where is your own World of Tanks game is installed in your hard drive, and this should be exactly the same. If it isn't, or it's it, there's some kind of uh, mistakes on this directory or so on, just browse, press the browse button and select your correct directory on your hard drive. If this isn't the correct one, it will be installing. It will be the program itself would be make a new directory and install all those modifications to that directory, and it won't be working in your client. And this is what far as I have noticed when I talked earlier, that sometimes this installing program doesn't remember what the modifications you have been selected earlier. One of the reasons why it doesn't remember, if it's once installing to the wrong directory, after that it will be losing those information about your own personal selected modification. So this is important to select correct one. Let's go forward, and this is the main window. What you can see here, and it is the one what where we can start to select what kind of modifications we like to install it. And like I said earlier, that I don't go very deeply this all the modifications, because this has a lot of different kind of modifications what you can select and customize your own client. And like I said earlier also, that uh, if you have selected some kind of uh, your own choices on these like I have, there is selections, a lot of different kind of selections. If this whole installing program will lost these information what I have been choosing earlier, it is very painful try to go through this again and try to remembering what I have been uh, chosen earlier. And yeah, that's very painful thing to do. And like I said earlier, that uh, there was the one modification pack which allows you to uh, save external file, setup file, what you can load in later, and it will set up to do this selecting by that file. But it's not there is not such a modification pack like that right now. As far as I know, if you know that there is, let me know at the comments. But what my tips for the remembering what you have selected earlier? So when you have that, if you are in that point that you have to start to select your own selections from the scratch, I have one tip for you, and at least that's something what I have been using, and it is that you save the information what you are using, obviously, and what I have been done, I have been doing the same thing what I'm doing right now. So I'm saving the screen capture video. So I'm just putting the video on and go through all these things and selections, and I can later come to that video and check what I have selected, that it's a correct way showing in the client. It's a little bit hassle, I know, but it is what it is. I have tried to uh, those one screen captures a lot of the, but it requires 30, 40 screen captures and it takes a lot of time. That's the reason why I'm using this video, because it's time saving process to do. But obviously you can use, for example, Snipper and take the screen capture for the every view over here. That's something what I tried in one point. But that's something what I recommend. It's a tip what you that it's important to save somehow those information for yourself. What the choices are. Like I said, I don't go very deeply what I have been choosing or what kind of things this offering, but let's go in some level still this whole thing. So there is also always some kind of uh, basic mm, topic liner, what what you can choose, and there's also these are all the, let's put that way, these are all uh, those modifications, and there is under those modifications, in some modifications there's a setup what you can choose. And when I'm starting, this is for example vehicle markings. I am selecting the solo, that's from the solo pack. What I said earlier, that I that's a solo modification pack what I used at the starting point, and when I started to use it, I get a little bit hooked on it right away. I like to see my vehicles marking that way in the future too. So this is the view what I'm seeing, and but you can select whatever you want. There's a lot of different kind of variations. For example, there's what you can see the how the markers are showing what kind of vehicle is and HP bar and so on. There's also some Asline itself is offering a lot of different kind of setup for this if you want to tweak up those for what kind of how they are seeing or appearing and so on. This easily take a lot of time to check these out and try them out. But I'm using Solo, and that's it. Let's go forward. The panels and windows. Uh, how the setup is showing what kind of things information I can get from the my own and enemy team setup, and that's a place where I can uh, set up also the icons and so on if I want to some rank patches or battle loading statistic tabs or so on. If I need to see them or I don't want to see them, I can remove them and so on. Here is also spotting when the enemies have spotted, what kind of icons is there, uh, more information, more frags, and so on by the users. Uh, so easily you can see that these what the modifications, what the nature of the modification is, that you are tweaking up the view of your battle mode or battle view in your client. Also at the minimap, how are the lines, what kind of lines are they and what the colors of them, and if I don't want to see some view range uh, lines or something like that, or maximum drawing distance circles and so on, I can select that it doesn't show and what the colors of them. uh, what else, icons, what the size of the icons are when it shows those vehicles, what kind of information I can see on those vehicles and the minimap. Uh, damage done log, you can add the customized versions if you don't want to use the base one, what the base client is offering. So same goes to receive damages. Uh, this is the one what I talked earlier, so I can add the extra FNC counters. This is a little bit useless for me because I'm using the base clients version, but I have been installing this just because I like to see how many unique spottings I have done for those spotting missions. Also color schemes, if there's some uh, troubles with the color blindness or you cannot see the reds correctly, you can select the violet. It is up a lot of to see those colors. Player statistics, this is the one what I'm using when I'm talking about XVM. So if you want to use those, uh, this is the first tipping point where you can start to set up those. I'm using the default XVM values, but there's a lot of other uh, ways to, or color scales to choose them. Six senses, there's a lot of different kind of icons. How much the uh, six sense icon is showing, this is very useful. So I have that icon and it shows it in my client in 10 seconds. So it's that 8 plus 2, and that way I can make sure that after it disappeared that icon that I'm not spotted anymore. Uh, but obviously that's takes only uh, account from the first showing. So if you are spotted all the time, it doesn't know that. So in that case, that 10 seconds doesn't work anymore. Modifications for a carriage. Here's a lot of different kind of things what you can do. Hide the different kind of buttons or the information. For example, if you don't want to see this announcement from the work gaming, you can hide them, event banners and so on. Also, if you want to see what kind of personal reservoirs are on right now and what is the timer on them, very useful in many cases. Auto return for a crew. So if you are chasing the tank and you want to use same crew, and this will do things that thing that it will be automatically follow that same crews to another tank. So if you have tech tree tank and you want to use that tech tree tank's crew on the premium tank, say same tank class premium tank, you can just play those two tanks and the crew is automatically following to each other. You don't have to uh, use the barracks to change the crews back and forth all the time. Very useful in that case. These are the bad blocks. Like I said, you can put the blocks on the those, for example, free experience or bones, so on, clock. Set up for the tank carousels, how many rows. There's even 5 rows if you want to put it. Uh, what is the scale of the row, carousels, and this is the sort the information what the things those icons are showing those cells. And there's also the sorting, like I said earlier. There's a different kind of option for them too if you want transparent and so on. Other settings, here is a lot of different kind of things. Auto logging, it's pretty useful. I'm using it. It means that when you are starting the game, it will be automatically log in with your accounts. You don't have to press buttons or the put your own uh, password and so on. It will automatically sign in. For me, as a lazy person, it's good good thing. Uh, yeah, there's a lot of kind of things for the signing. Um, yeah, what I can pick up here. Gun reloading sound if you want to change how the reloading sounds. For example, for Arnold Schwarzenegger, it will be saying your own way the gun is reloaded if that's something what you want. What else? This is the thing what I said earlier, that from the solo modification pack, I was hooked on this kind of icons for these tanks, and this is something for me at least it's very important that I can see them in this way with the colors, and tiers are in the Arab numerical way showing, and yeah, this is what I have been used to use it so many years. So it's, to me it's very hard to watch something else. But there's a lot of different kind of variation what you can select if you want to clean up it like you like to see them. About zoom, there's a lot of different kind of zooms, and what are the steps on the zooms. I don't use these 40, 50 or 60 uh, times zooms. Even that 30 times zooms are sometimes uh, something what I don't like, because more you are zooming, it narrows the whole spectrum what you can see. And also I have noticed that sometimes it isn't that accurate what it's the bloom of the site is showing, depending on that zoom. What else? Again, a lot of setups for those. Uh, some very interesting things what you can tune up to, which helps, maybe helps for your performance. You can disable the gun shape after the shot. All these uh, mm, flashes, red flashes in the enemy, what annoys you when you are playing or getting hit or something like that. There's a very good
mm, tool is that free camera replay. When you are looking at replays, uh, you can fly all over the place in that replay and check how the enemies have been moving and so on. If you would like to check those later on. Armor penetration indicator, it's something new here. Crosshairs, again, I have been using that Jimbo. It's for me, it's familiar. If I'm using the regular one, what is the on the place guy client, I'm right away lost a little bit. Again, here's a lot of different kind what you can select. Uh, indicator. Mm, this is very useful time snapping though. The game itself offering that auto aim thing and how it works, you have to point to the enemy vehicle and after that you can uh, it will look on the enemies. This is purely legal auto aim what the game client itself offering. What this time snapping does, it do the exactly the same thing, but this allows you this very short period to the snap to the enemy tank. It helps snapping on the move. It's helpful in that way. This isn't those aimbots or something like this. This doesn't have what's the asserts the weak bots or something. This doesn't aim or shoot by itself. This is just the extension for the that auto aim what the client itself offering. And like I said, when this is uh, in this modification pack and under the mm, Wargaming Hub, it's legal to use. There's nothing illegal. That it doesn't do anything special. Just give that extra time to snap on the enemy tank. What else? A lot of different info panels. What the kind of information it brings to the screen for the yourself and enemy tanks. Uh, Also, if you want to see how the uh, if you are playing two battles and previous one you have died and you start a new one, it will show uh, at the your new battle how the previous one has been ended. Very useful in that way. Again, receive damage logs. Lot of different kind of variation for that. Damage panels, and this is on that corner how it looks like. Hit logs, very useful, at least for me, and it shows the VN8, how I'm processing that game during the time, how well I have played on the V8 values point of view, how effectiveness and differential the values I have reached it in that point. There's also possibility to see how I've been collect or wasted credits if you like to see something like that. Also, there's possibility to add a lot of more statistic values from a screen, but to me personally, I there's enough information for myself. I cannot follow all them right now, so I'm I'm not selecting all these what I can use. In some point, I select all the when I started to use modifications, I select all the bells and whistles, and it was so full that screen that it doesn't work anymore. Mark of Excellence tools, and that's the one what I have been using. Also, this team HP pool, and it shows also that high caliber values in that battle, which is very good and information when you are doing some 279 missions. Uh, don't stop. Here is very good uh, modifications if you are grinding those 279 missions. This is automatic reset uh, at the 279 missions. There's all on those missions you have to do several or many, let's say 3 to 20 missions on the row, and depending how your missions start to go on at the first mission, it tells or ease up a lot of the future of those missions. So it's very important to reset the progress if your first uh, battle on that mission isn't good enough, or you don't do anything which leads forward that mission. What this does is that if you don't do anything, it will automatically reset that. You don't have to go to the that mission panel and reset yourself from the button. This is doing the job by itself. It's very useful on that one. Again, six sense timer things. Like I said earlier, I have selected the icon so that it shows 10 seconds, but I also have selected the time sound for it, so it's beeping 10 seconds when I have been spotted, and after that it go away. Very useful tool. Uh, Here is possibility to uh, select things which ease up the graphic performance, though, so you can remove different kind of things from the screen. If you have a slower computer, it ease up a lot. More carriage things or modifications. Over here, I don't go these through pretty deeply. You can go down by yourself. There is the parallel result that you saw in my results that shows those XVM values. Here is the things what I am selecting from them, and here is that battle hit modification, replay manager modification. What I said earlier, what are very useful, what I'm using. Also, advanced tech tree. This show all those tanks. What the wargaming has been announced. Almost everyone. And also here is the armor inspector. What I said earlier. And have seen selected this one. Mm, Here is the that extended or much uh, more information telling the session statistic what I showed earlier, and this is what I have chosen. So it shows those incomes and VN8 and so on. Also, what kind of background I'm using those sounds. You can add a lot of different kind of uh, sounds for your client if you want. For example, crew member voices. There's Deadpool and Duke Nukem and whatever you want. Also with different kind of languages. If you want your own languages, those voices. You can add music too if you want to your client. Also, all the textures of those tanks can be changed in some other format of view. There is also hit zone skin. This is, I remember many years, it was a little bit controversial that is this illegal or illegal, but it's still legal. What this does, it shows the position of the internal modules and crews on the tanks. Uh, at the first, this might sounds very good or something which gives uh, special mm, extra edge for the players, but to be honest, it doesn't. These are just markers or these stamps side of the tank, and roughly they are showing where it is those internal modules or the crews, but hitting by and those things by these stamps, it's a different story because uh, the tank is always the enemy is always some different kind of angle, and if tanks is a little bit angled, you cannot use these stamps or at all. You can try to roughly to shoot these places, but always the whole battle is going so fastly that you don't have time to aim so precisely on these things. And another thing is that it's more or less from the RNG to hit those things. So yeah, I have tried these skins couple of times in some tricky missions, but I didn't find any kind of use of these. To be honest, this looks a little bit silly or bad on the tanks, so that's something what I don't use. There's a very good thing about this is that uh, this gives the some kind of learning curve or process for learning where is these models. So when you, I guess, when you are checking these or look these stamps on the tanks, you start to remembering where are the different kind of things internal models on the tanks. But in generally, the models are pretty much in the same place in every tank. Only the fuel tank and the engine is changing, but in the whole, they are always almost in the same places. So in that point of view, pretty bit useless. But if you find some kind of help out of those, you can install it that modification too. So here is a lot of uh, things what you can uh, customize the layout of the battles or those how they are showing those uh, textures and how the models are showing in the client. Here is the selection for that. More about Minimap. If you're wondering why there are so many times same things, for example, Minimap has been at least 2 times here. A reason for is that there's some modifications with development under the XVM, and there's also some modifications which are not uh, related to the XVM. So Aslan has been divided these in the two sections. Lastly, there's a various mod different kind of things what you can select if you want. There's a fast recon what I have been choosing. What that means that if the client is uh, crumbling down, it's shut down, whatever the reason is, this helps up to reconnect the fastly. At least that's something what it promises. Uh, I don't know does it work that well that what is promised, but well, in some cases I can see that it connects pretty fast. Or it's much faster than if I doing the same uh, without this modifications. Obviously, if uh, the client itself is jammed, you have to stop down or the process from the computer side. This modification doesn't do that. What else? Some external applications if you want to dig up more. For example, here is the own program which allows you to uh, hide or show different kind of effects in the barrel if you want. And I have installed this cleaner, which basically clean up all the modifications. And why it's useful for me is that sometimes the client doesn't work correctly, and the most common reason for that is that the modification itself causes some kind of troubles. So easiest way to get rid of those problem is to clean up the client from all the modifications. But now we are ended all these things, and the modifications list. Uh, this took a lot of time so far, more than half an hour, and you can imagine if you start to go this step by step and try things out or different kind of modification, it will take time. But that's something what I have done earlier, and like I said, I'm pretty hooked on that. So uh, I'm depending in some point of view of these modifications, so it's important for me. But now I have been done all the selections, and the next thing what should do is simply press this next. And here is couple of important things. I recommend that you select all these deleted from here. Reason for this is that the um, best way to make sure that all the client and all the modifications are working correctly. Sometimes if you are not deleting the uh, cats or those older one Python XVM logs, it the client itself doesn't work correctly. So this is the one what I am recommend you to do every time when you are uh, downloading or um, run this modification back in your own for your own client. Next, and now we are in the step where I can start to install the client. Before I continue in this, it's very important thing what I recommend you to do is that you shut down antivirus real-time protection. Reason for this is that at least in my antivirus, real-time protection is very proactive, and every unfamiliar familiar program what I'm trying to run on this my computer, it will block it away. And the program what the my antivirus is blocking is the installing software itself. The modifications, far as I have understand, modification itself doesn't do that, but the installing program, and also if I'm installing those extensional programs like that mod cleaner, uh, it will my antivirus will stop on those. So before I can continue in this phase, I have to shut down my real-time protection of the antivirus for a couple of minutes. And after that, I have installed it, I put it back in line, and just to make sure that my computer is safe, I'm running uh, the antivirus itself and check my computer just to make sure that there are not any viruses installed. You never know. But that's something what I have to do. I don't know what kind of setup and antivirus programs you have, but that's something what I have to do. Otherwise, this program doesn't install it anything, at least in my case. Last thing, uh, after the installing, uh, there, if you have installed XVM modifications, they don't work unless you go to the XVM own web pages, sign in, and activate the services.
So you can Google XVM, and there you can find the web pages and uh, sign in there with Wargaming um, uh, credits account uh, information, and after that you can activate service for you. But that's about it. Um, this way you can install it all the things from Asline modification pack to yourself, and hope I hope that you find them useful, as I hope you can find useful this video too. But that's about it about these modifications. Thank you all, and bye.